gold. I don't want to be wasting this gold just the two of us when we could be sharing it with everyone on Facebook.
Yeah, completely. Everyone on Facebook would love to see us discussing our water.
Well, that's what we're going to do, so they better enjoy it.
Yeah.
Before we do that, I'm going to say hello. My name's Stuart Moses. I'm the host of the Improv London Podcast, and I'm here with Vicky Hawley, who is a guest on the Improv London Podcast.
Hi, friends.
Hello. Particularly episode 117, which will be out on Wednesday, the 17th of October. So, we were just discussing our water.
We were indeed. It was, you know what? You missed a wild time.
Some people might say that we should have the drink before we start doing the Facebook Live. Some people might think that would be a more professional approach. But...
yeah, but some people are fools, Stuart.
Cheers.
Fools.
So when I record the podcast, I'm very strict with my guests, as Vicky has found out.
Yes.
Very much not allowing them. I allow them to have a drink.
Yep.
But I don't allow them to put it on their on the table in case of noises. That's for you, dear listeners. That's for you.
There's a little bit of behind the scenes.
A little bit behind the scenes magic.
Yeah.
And also, we've also opened the windows as well, because I don't know, for some reason I'm less worried about sound quality when we're doing Facebook Live.
Well, yeah, you're not marketing it as part of the, recorded podcast.
No.
No, well, no.
No.
Except YouTube. YouTube will know.
Will they?
Or will you not put us up on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yes,
YouTube will know.
Okay, fair enough. So, anyway, how was the podcast recording for you? Was that all right?
Really fun. Really, really fun. Really enjoyable.
What did we talk about?
My gosh.
Here's a test. What did we talk
So,
about? Without giving any spoilers.
Okay.
But this is just going to tease everyone going, oh, I'd like to listen to that.
Ooh.
Come 17th of October. I will tune in.
Put it in my calendar. 17th of October.
That's what I hope people do.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It's a good episode. I mean, I'm just judging on the basis that I'm in it, so of course it's great.
And it's the only episode you've listened to.
Yeah, look,
fine.
as of broadcasting, yes, but as of release, certainly not.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we talked. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather. How are you? Wave.
Aww.
So we both waved. I said wave, and then we waved like that.
I think Heather's been well and truly waved.
Waved at.
Yeah, so in the episode, we talked about tabletop role playing.
Quite a lot of that.
Quite, actually, maybe too much.
Too much? You think
No,
it's too much?
I think it's
Just
a lot.
enough,
I think it's
just
enough. Yeah, absolutely.
It was more than usual, but
Yeah.
not too much.
More than average, I'd say.
More than I have ever done. I think when Katie Shoot was on, we did discuss it a little bit.
Amazing.
Heather said hello.
Hi! Oh, this is so cool. We can interact. This is
Yes.
just a stream we can interact with Heather, right?
Yes, just. I mean, that's really the person I was hoping would tune in. Was
Good.
Heather.
Good. Me too.
It's been a long.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you. It's got another side as well, and that's all. That's all. You don't get to find out whether there's a back. No, there is. You know that. You're a wise lady. I don't know why I tried to deceive Heather. It's never goes well. Thank you very much. I'm sure your shirt is cool as well, Heather. Wherever you are. I keep forgetting she can't talk back.
It's not actually a phone call.
Yeah.
We could actually just phone Heather up, I imagine, and then have a chat rather than going through the rigmarole of having a Facebook Live.
Yeah, this is the only way we know how to get in touch with Heather anymore.
Yeah. You know.
Oh, dear me.
I had a phone call recently with my friend Phil, and I thought, oh, this is a bit like an interactive podcast. Because I was listening to what Phil was saying, and then I could contribute, and that would affect what he said. It was like a podcast that was interactive. And I know that's a phone call.
It's just a conversation.
It's just a conversation that happened to be on my phone. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
So.
Wow, and they say millennials are being ruined by technology.
Yeah, I think technology has ruined me.
You heard it here first, folks.
Oh, Heather's on the train.
Oh.
So where do we think Heather's going?
Oh.
So what day is it today?
Thursday?
Thursday. So is there's a Mayday's drop-in on a Thursday.
Ooh.
But she'll be too. If she's running that, she's late. So let's hope that. So let's speculate. Where are you going, Heather?
Yeah.
Hope you're going somewhere fun.
This is part of a new game on the podcast called Where's
Heather
Going?
I'm going to write that down. That's one of my regular questions.
Just to put it to you, Where is Heather going?
Where's Heather going? Both physically and in real life. Let's say hi to Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. Where do you think Heather is going? I'm just really, really intrigued by this game. I assume Heather's okay with us making this game, and it's too late. I'm sorry. It's too late now.
I want it to become a warm-up.
Yeah.
There must be some warm-up game called Where's Heather?
There is now. Bingo Moses.
Yes, that's my surname.
Ah.
That means I must have got something right.
Ah, I thought it was a very modern interpretation of the Bible. Blimey, Exodus has changed since I was at school.
Well,
Okay.
Isn't it amazing that someone is listening and watching on a train?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very exciting.
I think she's going
Sarah says she
far.
thinks Heather's going far, and then a pointy
a
finger.
thumb up.
Is that a thumb up?
I think so.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes. I'm not really good with technology. This is a question for Sarah.
Lovely.
If Sarah were here, she'd ask, are you a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan?
Oh, see, I've seen the first couple of series of Buffy, and I very much like what it's trying to do.
Oh, right.
I think it was very much a product of its time.
That is
and
true.
I think maybe my mistake was not watching it when it was first broadcast.
Right.
Also, I've heard someone very important dies in like one of the later seasons, and I can't get
Spoilers.
invested in that journey, man. I can't get invested in
Is
the
Joss-
girlfriend dies scenario. That's all the spoilers you're getting, but
Is Joss Whedon involved? Yes.
Yes.
Does somebody important die?
yes. Does somebody is Joss Whedon involved? Yes. Does somebody fall into somebody else's breasts? Yes. Is that considered romance? Yes. Was it okay to let him do that to Age of Ultron? No. But sorry. Back in the room. Point is, I think Buffy's cool.
Cool.
Buffy's cool.
Well, I'm excited. There's a remake coming along.
Ooh, is that?
So that will be interesting to see it through the vision of 2018, 2019, wherever it's coming out. So,
Yeah. That'd be fun to watch.
yes.
I might sign up for that then. Very nice.
Yes. Cool. So we were talking about what we talked about
Yes.
on episode 117 of the Improv London, out on Wednesday the 17th of October.
It's a long title, Stuart, but I like it. Yes, so we were talking tabletop roleplay.
Yes.
We talked about kind of...
The list is here if you
yeah,
need to refer to it.
thank
I'm taking you behind
we
the
talked-
magic here.
Just
There is a
completely-
list.
Completely off my own head. We talked about we talked about Bumper Blighton. We talked about the Oxford Imps. We talked about hey, it's Ryan.
We talked about Ryan.
We talked about specifically Ryan Murphy. Genuinely, we did.
Yes.
So you better listen, mate. I'm
Find out.
sorry.
Find out
I've
what,
told all your secrets.
That's a special Patreon
Yeah.
only, along with all the other ones
He's
we've
not,
done tonight.
he's not your Patreon though, he's mine. He just
I
pays
see.
me 50p to mention him on various things.
Well,
No, he doesn't.
50p well spent.
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody's making some money out of this podcast, even if it isn't me.
I mean, that's not actually how it is, but Ryan, if you want to set that up, you know where I
I
am.
think that's a bargain. I think that's well worth it.
Yeah, certainly. I'll be a promo agent, it's fine.
Oh,
enjoy
have a lovely
Heather.
time. Bye.
Thanks for the improv game.
Yay.
Well, that was a great story. I mean, we should probably stop now. Heather's gone. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it. That's all you get. No, I'm
Okay.
kidding.
I mean, because I will say this because it's sometimes hard to know when you're doing a Facebook Live if somebody wants to stop. How do they communicate to you that they want to stop?
No, I would like to continue.
Okay, in that
There we
case,
go.
because consent is really important and consent is ongoing.
Yeah, certainly.
That was a weirdly serious point, but I thought it was going to be funnier.
No, but it is important. It wasn't funny, but it was correct.
But that's
I
fine.
think
I will
that's
settle
enough,
for
right?
not funny but correct. That's entirely fine.
Many people have to in their day-to-day lives. You don't always have to.
Thank
know?
you.
There you go.
Um,
So we talked about the Oxford Imps.
Yes.
We talked about Bumper Blighton. We talked about Multiverse. We talked about The Hero's Journey, the new original I am directing. We talked about The Adventures of the Improvised Sherlock Holmes, which is going to be touring. And we talked about the show that must not be named, the Type 5 in Oxford. And
I was a little bit cheeky in that I'd like to see a group that doesn't have an improvised Harry Potter.
Look, what's good, Stuart, is that we all have dreams, okay? Even though they're unfeasible and infeasible, feasibless, and they can't come true. But we all have to have dreams.
We all have to have
Maybe your dream
dreams.
is that someday someone won't jump on the Harry Potter bandwagon and frantically ride it for improv credit.
Well, the thing is, I like Harry Potter, so I don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine. This is the thing. Well, there's still an audience.
If I didn't like Harry Potter, I'd be like, oh, Harry Potter. I'd be like Voldemort, because that's what he does. He goes, oh, Voldemort.
He very specifically doesn't like Harry Potter. That's a key feature of Voldemort. So.
But Voldemort. Oh no. But does he like himself? I don't think he likes himself either. Certainly in my interpretation of Voldemort, he likes neither Harry Potter nor himself.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Because he was conceived under the effects of a love potion, and so his parents didn't love him, right? And so he can't ever love himself. But also he was a big wizard fascist, and we shouldn't overlook that. Like, a lot of people have rough home situations and don't found the Death Eaters. Like, I'm just putting that out there. If we're talking wizard politics, which we always should.
Which we are. Which we are.
Aren't we always talking wizard politics, really?
In a way we are. Find out which houses, which Hogwarts houses we're in by listening to episode 117 of the... It doesn't... I mean, I can say it's off the line.
Yeah.
People aren't going to listen to it because, oh yeah, I wondered what episode number that was. Thank God Stuart kept saying it so often, and now I know which one to go to.
I was just going to say, find out by listening to the podcast or listening to us talk for like 5 minutes, because then it was quite obvious.
Rude.
No, it's not rude. It's not rude. But everyone's going to be like, what house could he possibly be having this reaction to? And also, I burned myself with that. In about 2 minutes, I'm going to just be like, yeah, I have some opinions about the past year, and I'd like to share them. It's very important.
So if anyone has any questions... Hi, Gareth. If anyone has any questions or any requests...
yep, go for it. Yeah, why not?
Do let us know. Otherwise, we will talk about tabletop role playing.
We literally will.
Until
That's the thing.
Until everyone stops watching.
And maybe a little longer than that.
So,
hey! All right, Hodge.
So Sarah says Ravenclaw.
Yep.
And is that a guess? Oh, that's. I presume. Oh, I've given that away, haven't I? Because I pointed at you and said Ravenclaw.
Well, I mean, people could also find out what D&D class I am if they listen to the podcast, or indeed us talk.
Oh, you see, I have a real problem with alignment.
Yeah. Alignment. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's not quite the same thing. But
No.
I really hate alignment.
Interesting.
Well, I was just going to say hi to Tom, because you've said hi to Tom
Hey!
already. So, I was on Classic FM this week. Not Classic FM, Encore Radio. In my mind, they're quite similar.
Yep, brilliant.
So I was on Encore Radio, sharing my favourite
Hi,
five.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. I was on Encore Radio sharing my favourite 5 songs from the musicals. And one of the songs that I shared was the Cell Block Tango from Chicago. And one of the reasons I particularly enjoy that is because I went to the British Improv Project, where the 2 Toms, Tom Young and Tom Hudge, allowed me to do a short form musical game of the Cell Block Tango.
That sounds so good.
It was my favourite
Oh
thing
my gosh, that
ever.
sounds amazing.
So if you're ever with Tom Hodge,
if Tom Hodge and I ever hung out, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, you could make that happen.
I mean, genuinely, that would be fantastic.
It was so much fun, and hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi again, because she's called us Lovelies.
Oh, Lisa Lynn, genuinely one of my favourite people. She's very lovely, as I'm sure you know.
Correct.
Yes.
I agree.
Ding.
Agreed.
10 points to where? You'll have to listen to the improv episode and find out, the episode of the podcast. Or talk to me for 5 minutes and I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
It's like being a vegan.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's really important to me that which Hogwarts house I'm in. And
it's just the only ethical choice.
Yeah, it's so hard being whatever house I'm in.
Being insert house here.
Yeah, insert house here.
That sounds great fun.
So the thing with this doing the Cell Block Tango is that we would get a subject, and then we would go across the 5 of us doing the one word at a time, and then we'd get up from the chair and we'd sort of walk up to the front of the stage, and then we'd do a little monologue about who we killed and why we killed them.
Nice.
And I am terrible at doing kind of word plays or puns, but it was really good fun trying to exercise that muscle So, I ended the line on not necessarily a laugh, but certainly some sort of pun or something like that. So that was really satisfying. So I really enjoyed that.
Really good.
I was so in character during one run through that Tom Young dared me just to get up and then just kind of was I strutting? I was maybe strutting around the stage and then just sit down again without saying anything. So that also got a laugh. So that's always an option there.
That's very good.
So this is more detail than I went to on Encore Radio.
Yeah.
But I did. So I got them a mention, and I got Joe Samuel and Heather Urquhart for the Maydays a mention as well.
Amazing.
Because the first time I did musical improv, it was when I was doing the Hoopla performance course. And I was really nervous about it, so I was trying to do as many workshops as I could. So I went down to do the Maydays drop-in on Thursday night in Brighton. Had a lovely evening, and Heather and Joe happened to be doing musical improv, and that was the first time I ever did it, and that's when I discovered my love for musical improv.
Oh, lovely! I think that's great. It's really nice. Yeah, and the Maydays are like an excellent way to learn musical improv.
Yes. Lisa says,
I'm always with Tom Hodge. How do I not know about this? We need to cell block tango. Cell block hango, am I right? Yeah. Also, love you both. Vicky, you are one of my favourite people right back. Oh, look at this. I'll pay you later, Lise. Thank you. No problem. Just a big name. These things happen to me all the time, Stuart. It's the thing.
Well, that's fair enough.
Love cell block hango. That's very good.
I maybe be keeping it a secret, but I hope not, because that's another secret blown out of the water.
Hodge had his chance.
Much like one of the warm-ups for Bumper Blighton that may or may not be a secret that is revealed on the episode.
Yep, find out how to get yourself to talk like an evacuee with a penchant for jam sandwiches.
Let's hope that Jonah doesn't slap an injunction on us. Hello, Robin.
Hi, Robin. Jonah might, and we have to be prepared for that.
But it's sort of, I find it a bit rich coming from him, slapping sort of intellectual property rights complaint on us, considering upstairs Downton, Bumper Blighton. I rest my case, my lord.
Well, the judge of the improv courts will have to decide.
Yes. Well, you've been in a...
Oh, whoa, what a segue!
I've really been on fire tonight with the segues.
Yeah.
You've set them up and I've knocked them out.
I love that. And that is also mentioned.
That's also a callback to a podcast that we've heard, but you haven't yet. So,
I'm enjoying this exclusivity around the conversation we had. I very much enjoy that.
So those that are watching will then have to go and listen to the podcast and then re-watch this to get everything that we're talking about. That's
it's like an Easter egg thing.
I think that's more effort than people are going to make. But
Look, if you watch this Facebook Live backwards as a secret message.
Yeah, no, it's not that secret. It's listen to the Improv London podcast at soundcloud.com/Improv London. That's the backward message that I put on it. But I've also put it forward in case people can't be bothered to listen to it backwards. Stuart,
you're ruining the complex system of puzzles and traps we've laid out.
Or is it? Or is there another secret? No, there isn't. That is my message. Please listen. Please listen. Lots of people do. Although a big secret of getting lots of people to listen is to be in the Showstoppers. There's many other benefits of being in Showstoppers. But they recently tweeted about Susan Harrison being on. Thank you very much for that. And 60 people listened to that episode as a result of one tweet from Showstoppers.
Wow.
So.
Guess the rule is be Susan Harrison. I would love that to be an achievable goal. She's fantastic. I like her very much.
She's very, very good.
And God, if I must join the Showstoppers to promote your podcast, fine.
I appreciate the sacrifice that you are going to. I shouldn't really repeat that because it's... Well, so Jonah was saying that, he thought the very best improv group. Sorry, Jonah. This is like not something you want to share.
Too late, too slow.
But now I've started, so I have to finish. He said the Ostentatious were the very best improv group around, and Showstoppers came in a very close second. And I challenged him on this.
Interesting.
Only because I'm more of a fan of musicals than I am Jane Austen. They're both very, very good groups, and they are.
And they really do not care how we rate them because they are busy selling out. At the end of the day, we could be like, oh, actually, I think you're fine.
The 7th and 8th.
Yeah,
I mean, they're in the top 10, obviously. 7th and 8th.
Yeah, sorry, I can't hear you over my 700-seater venue I'm selling here. Sorry, and the sound of all these tickets I'm selling. Yeah, I think those ratings just come down to taste and personality at the end of the day. Like, people are going to like one thing more than the other, and that's fine.
Yes,
also,
both very good.
Yeah, like, I feel like Jonah's a little biased with ostentatious as well.
Shocking.
As is a right and proper.
Yes.
Could you imagine if he did prefer the showstopper?
You'd never be able to say. Would you be able to say? No, you wouldn't be able to say.
No.
I mean, it's very hard to see what's going on in somebody else's relationship in general. I mean, I was a bit worried having started on the who's number 1 and who's number 2 improv groups, that then it's like, oh, we need to find out who's else is in the top 10, and we are not going down that route.
No.
Because everyone is good.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, it's so personal as well. I really don't know how we would set up any objective system that would be fair.
It's all personal taste.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the joyous things about improv, is that there is so much diversity and like so many assorted shows and styles.
Yes.
That you can always find something to your taste.
Yes.
Or with someone in that you love very much.
Yes.
Or at a venue that particularly grabs you.
Yes.
It's really fun.
Yes. Definitely.
How's that for a diplomatic
That was very
answer?
good. I tell you what, I was getting us into a lot of trouble there, and you neatly got us out of that trouble. So
this is what I do at the end of every show.
which we do discuss more fully on the podcast.
Oh dear me. Yeah.
So if anyone watching has any questions, please do send them our way.
Lisa, if you have any questions.
Lisa's got any questions. Oh, Robin's watching.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, I don't know. I don't understand
I think
what the system is.
Robin's probably gone, I think.
Oh dear, bye Robin.
Well, this is Lisa Lynn's personal stream.
Yes.
Oh.
That's all we require. We have a heart from Lisa Lynn.
I caught it as it left.
Well, I mean, we could just phone Lisa up. I mean, you know better than I do, but I mean, it's
I guess we could. I feel like she's probably had a long day. She's probably
quite
organising
busy.
3 or 4 projects, and
Yeah.
she doesn't want us calling live on stream.
No, okay, fair enough.
Well, I mean, we could call her, but I feel like she wouldn't answer. She'd be like, "Sorry, guys, missed your call."
But she's prepared to watch us on
yeah, exactly.
That sounds just something about Lisa.
Yeah, no, no.
Going in a permanent record in my book down here.
On Stuart Moses' gossip record.
My
Lisa
gossip
Lynn's
record.
cue card.
Lisa Lynn, she's very busy and talented. That's what I've written.
Oh, sorry, I misread. They're the suck-up cue cards, I see.
They may be suck-up cue cards, but they're also the truth. I have asked Lisa to be on this before, and she said she was too busy. Which is legitimate and true, so that's fair enough.
I'll believe it, actually. She's organising like 8 things at once anytime I talk to her.
Good. Keep up the good work.
And keep including me in your projects, thank you. Genuinely, we went to Lisa did Acapprov, which is an a cappella improvised musical.
Yes, I know what it is, but maybe the viewers don't. Yes, good that you explained that.
And so, as one of the originals. So
yes, long day.
Oh, she's so much more diplomatic than I am. Lisa is the best of us. They were short, so one had to drop out of their tour to Talent to perform at Tildes Festival.
Oh, right, yes.
So they very kindly invited me to come up and
wow.
do some a cappella improv music, which was really fun. And honestly, the group is lovely, and it was just such a delightful experience. Obviously, like everyone we met at Tilt was wonderful. But it was quite an intimidating pitch, having only done a cappella musical improv, which definitely sounds like musical improv, but you only drink apple juice.
Delicious and refreshing.
Yeah, it was great fun. It was really fun and quite amazing with the system they'd set up to see how on earth you would even start going about putting together an a cappella musical. Improv music is a hobby, but I'm not necessarily actively musical. I don't have any qualifications in music. I can't play an instrument. I just quite like singing. And so, in effect, breaking down the actual structure of a song into, someone needs a bass line, someone needs to do body percussion, these people need to suggest a melody but not necessarily lead a melody, and then we need just the the breakdowns in order to make it palatable and manageable for somebody who is also going to be managing plot, character, lyrics, mood, inflection, all of these different features you have to consider while on stage. It was lovely, and a really, really interesting way of doing a new musical show.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. So how was the festival? Did you get to see many other acts? Was it?
Yes, we did. Like? It was great fun, really nice. Tallinn is a beautiful city, and I very much
sounds like a fantasy city.
It really is. It's absolutely stunning. Genuinely, it's lovely. Hi, James.
Oh, James, hello. James is a regular viewer.
Great, love it. Tallinn is absolutely stunning. It's still got the medieval city walls up around, so you can just walk around the walls. It's amazing. It's got so many stunning churches, and obviously because of all of the history, which of course most cities don't have as much history. No, that's not how history works. But because of all the recent history, you see there is like a beautiful, huge Orthodox church, but it is very empty. Do you want to tag Stephen Davidson? I mean,
this video?
I guess we could. Is it recognised his
we
face
haven't
somewhere?
Sort of mentioned him. I mean, he gets mentioned a lot on the podcast.
Maybe it's just a Facebook algorithm. What are you doing? Trying to talk about an Orthodox church in town, okay? Which everyone's fascinated by, of course.
No, I was interested.
Oh, well, good. Well, then I'll continue with the anecdote.
Yes, please finish with that.
It's huge and very angular, but most Orthodox churches, I think, would be far more ornate, obviously because of the Soviet occupation and things. It's very bare, and so they have things like the candelabra has these beautiful intricate lions' heads roaring on them, and a few different things on the altar. I couldn't find the right word there, and it's okay, and we moved past it, no one noticed.
Yes. Smooth, seamless.
But the rest of it is just a huge, in fact, blank church, and it's so fascinating to contrast that with the beautiful Catholic masterpieces you see when you travel around Italy, or when you see a French church or whatever. Not uniquely Catholic. There are all sorts of different beautiful churches and places of worship. I mean, you see just stunning things when you start to look. But it was fascinating, specifically that church, because it was clearly such a huge creation and yet so bare because of, I presume, the recent history. So really, really beautiful city. Highly recommend going there. Everyone was lovely. We saw some wonderful acts. Honestly, the mixer groups were often a real highlight. We saw Emma and Peter do Mordsaga, which is their improvised Swedish detective.
I love them. They're
really, really good.
They?
It's so funny.
Yes.
It's so funny. I never got the chance to see them before, so I was very, very happy to have an opportunity to see them. We saw an improvised Tarantino where everybody had fake guns and said the F word a lot. I don't know, are we allowed to swear on Facebook Live?
We're not allowed to ask if we can swear, but we're allowed to swear. I'm joking. It's a real cliche.
Oh, fuck.
No, because that's a real cliche of podcasting, is people asking if they can swear. Yeah. Usually after they've swear to, at which point it's well, I should add that to my list of things to mention beforehand.
Yeah.
I don't generally swear. I don't mind if people do.
Cool. I don't think I was effing and blinding throughout the episode, right?
No, I don't think so. Cool. I mean, not even when you were talking about insert something amusing. So I don't know, I can't, just gotta go. Lisa says,
tell him about what balls. Goodbye. So goodbye, Lisa. So nice to see you. They are actually some great photos. The balls. Now, at least I'm not well versed in balls. Now, what possible balls? There's a mystery on our hands, Watson, and we're going to have to solve it.
Think about what happened in Tallinn. I think Tallinn is very much the key here. Holmes. Tallinn. Now, balls have many meanings. One of which I think we should not share on this family podcast.
Certainly not. But so many other meanings.
Are we talking sort of, ball as in you go and dance and you wear masks?
No, I wish though. That would have been really classy. Maybe I should suggest that for next year.
Did you all have a Improv game of footy as a warm-up?
Stuart, just take a 2-minute look at me and answer the question in your own head as to whether or not I play sports recreationally.
I'm sure many Ravenclaws. Oh, I gave it away.
Just like Hufflepuff gave away their house cup last year to Ravenclaw. Oh dear. Yeah. Balls. I'll think about it. I think it might have been the beautiful fountains that were like in a beautiful shape of like a black kind of orb with beautiful water coming down. That, I think, is probably what was meant there. This is the issue. I have a relatively poor memory, which is actually why I like improv so much, because all you have to remember is something that happened up to 45 minutes ago. Beyond that, it's like, It's like, oh no, it was a joke I told an hour ago. Okay. Okay, you're overestimating me significantly here. Yeah.
I mean, I know that people sometimes, occasionally listen to my podcast, the Improv London Podcast, available at soundcloud.com.
I hear episode 117 is going to be an absolute
I think it's going to be pretty good. Sometimes they quote something I've said back to me, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. No recollection of saying it whatsoever. And then there are other things which I think I say all the time, but I like to presume that people don't listen to every episode, so I can get away with that. So I apologise if I'm saying something that I've already said.
Quite alright.
I mean, it's alright for you.
Yeah, never listen. But okay, never mind.
If it comes to you, if otherwise it'd be one of those mysteries.
Yeah.
She's
gonna text me and just be like, "It's obviously this," and I'm like, "Shit."
Is that what happens when you perform with her? It's like, yeah, it's obviously this
that would be
that
great.
I was trying to communicate to you.
Actually, that would be amazing. Figuring out a way to synthesize improv and technology. We tried with a show called Hyperdrive.
What happened in Hyperdrive?
Well, very few pieces of good improv. It was an experimental show. We invented a bunch of new short form games. It was actually very fun to play them, but I'm not sure it necessarily worked as a long-term structure. But we had things like, we had a drone which broke after the first week, and so we put it on a long stick and we promised people the drone, and then we stopped everything in the middle of the show and we were like, now it's time, the drone, and we pulled this drone out of this huge stick and just wagged it about above the audience while we went, the drone.
I think that's better. I think it's probably better than a fully working drone, if I'm honest.
I think so. We would do like serenades over FaceTime and stuff. So we would like ask somebody about somebody that they said they could FaceTime, and then we would FaceTime them and do a song about like
nice. What
someone wants to say to them, which I thought was really sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
We did guess essentially Pictionary but on Paint. We did the honeymoon game, but with completely random searches from Google Images. Yeah, it was actually great fun. Now that I think more about it, Hyperdrive, it was very, very enjoyable. But yeah, probably not an enduring format. The drone.
The drone. I mean, I think that every show should have a bit where they pause and then bring in
too.
the drone. I think
you know what? For the hero's journey, that could potentially work. Is a thing.
Cool. Right. I've got some questions, some written questions. One from Amy Cook-Hodgson. I'm going to save it till last because it's a good third one. So I'm going to start with Andrew Gentilis. Have you ever melted something that was not edible?
Oh. I feel like this question presumes I am a responsible enough adult to be left near hot things. I don't think I have. Is that boring?
No.
Apart from like overcooking a marshmallow, where you put it in a fire for too long and then I guess that's not melting, it's just burning. Have I ever melted something? No, I'm really sorry. Should I?
No.
Have you?
So when I first answered this question, I had this sort of idea of something that had been left on the shelf on the back of a car in the heat, but I'm not quite sure what it was.
We're grasping at like astral memories here that have just drifted into our heads from the planes beyond this one.
Yes, and I mean, in many ways, I feel disappointed with what the astral plane has given me. So.
Maybe something melted on in your boot at one time.
Maybe. I feel that if I'm going to get messages from the astral plane, come on.
They should be more insensible and concerning and driving me slowly towards insanity.
Yeah, well,
as per the rules of Call of Cthulhu.
Yes. Have we learnt nothing? So, question from Nathan Keats. When were you last so rained on that you were disgusted and upset?
Ooh, these are very specific questions, by the way. I think it's got to be in Edinburgh, right? It's got to be one of those horrific, it's pouring with rain, but you have to go and do your hours flyering, or you have to get rid of your pile of 100 flyers or whatever.
Does flyering make a difference to the number of people in your show?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think definitely for improv stuff, especially if you're trying to sell a student show or a show that is not necessarily at the Big Four.
Right.
It really does make a difference, because people aren't really going to come across your show. There aren't many other ways people are going to come across your show if you don't have like a big advert and huge posters, and obviously most shows don't. Having a presence on the mile is super useful, I think. But I also think that having things like an active postering team with access to wallpaper paste, big posters and the ladder, really helpful. So being active on social media, really helpful. I definitely think it does change it, especially because if you, when you hire flyers and then on days you don't have them, you do kind of notice the difference. I think we had a couple of days, I think, for Sherlock where we didn't have flyers, and the number of people we had, audience members. She was fine, right? What else going on up there?
So there's sort of
a lot of shouting, I guess.
I wasn't sure whether it was coming from the next room or whether it's coming from outside. I think also if they've got the window open, the sound will come round, so it'll sound like it's outside, but it's actually next door.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's suddenly got very, very noisy.
I feel like we're at the start of the zombie outbreak, and we're going to be like the little tertiary comedy scene where we're just chatting. And then we see zombies at the door and we're like, oh, we should have stopped Facebook Live. No, I'm enjoying this.
If the inevitable zombie apocalypse arrives, I want to be going out podcasting, Facebook Live broadcasting.
No, I'm going to pick you up on one word there, Stuart, and it's inevitable.
It's going to happen. Inevitably.
Have you ever? What are your favourite pieces of like zombie media?
So I actually find zombies quite terrifying.
I agree. When you actually think about them,
yes,
really scary.
So I would say Shaun of the Dead.
Nice.
And the Resident Evil games.
Interesting. Yeah, I think those are good picks. One of my favourites is World War Z.
I've not watched it.
The book I think is way better.
Didn't I not reveal? I knew it was a book. I went straight to film.
Yeah, but you know what? Film has its own engaging features.
Yes, it does.
It's okay.
But the book's better than the film.
I think the book's very, very good. The book is freaky. Alice was reading. My friend Alice was reading World War Z during Edinburgh a couple of years ago, and she just completely freaked herself out. I was like, can't be this bad, it can't be that bad. I was like talking to her like, no zombies can get in, we're fine. And then when I came back from Edinburgh, I was like, alright, I'll see what it's about, and I read it and I was like, yeah, she's right, I'm scared. I'm scared, everybody.
I would be very careful about what I read when I was in Edinburgh, because I'm sure I would be feeling fragile anyway.
Scary, man.
Yeah.
When you realise kind of how weirdly isolated you are up in Edinburgh, and how, like, on the one hand, the festival seems like a wonderful, amazing point of connection, and this coming together of a massive community of creators and artists and people who enjoy these things. It's wonderful. But also when you, like, if, as I did, you have to go to a doctor or a hospital for a serious operation, it is terrifying to just be like, okay, I have to wait a whole day before my family can get up here, and like, I'm lucky that I managed to contact them in the half hour I was given between being told I would have an operation and going to the operating theatre. It was quite serious, but I'm fine now, which is very important. Well, thank you very much. But yeah, you don't really notice until something goes wrong, and there's Anyway, on that light-hearted note, what's the next question?
So the next question from Amy Cook-Hodgson.
Hey!
Elephants don't forget. So which memory in your memory bank would you never like to forget?
Oh, that's lovely.
Lovely.
Amy, that's such a nice question. Ooh, I'm torn between going for something that was, like, formative and something that was enjoyable. Because I'm,
Can we have both?
Both.
Both.
What, both in a... In the same memory?
Well, you can have two separate memories.
I don't have more than one memory.
I mean, I don't really know Amy that well, but I imagine she'll be flexible about this. No, I wanted one memory.
Only one memory.
That's because that's how she talks.
I mean, it was like she was here. It was exactly like she was here. I was like, oh boy, I should be doing Blyton right now. Sorry, my hair isn't in plaits. Oh man. It's tough. I don't really want to forget any of it. Quite often, as a child, you know, when you realise you can't redo things, that kind of slow realisation of like, oh, this year is my year 2 forever. Like, if I want to, I can't go back. And like, I think maybe before my GCSEs, I was like, yeah, if I was given the chance, I'd happily redo any of my years. And then after GCSEs, A-levels, university, stuff after university, like hi Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan, we've answered your question.
We have, I'm sorry.
You have to watch back. We answered your question about the getting rained on and being disgusted and wet at the same time. So you have to watch back because, funny answer to that. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I interrupted.
No worries. I think, now that I'm a grown-up, I wouldn't want to leave any of my memories behind. Especially now it's quite hard for me to remember things. It's a bit harder. I'm getting better at it, but it's a bit harder. I think it would have to be not my first Imps show, because that was great, but what actually I really, really enjoyed was let's go with this, with the rehearsal right before it, where it was me, Tom Skelton, Daniel Roberts, and they were a director and assistant director for that year. And I was terrified of pretty much everything going on with the Imps because they were like, it was such a big company, it was terrifying, and everyone was older than me and funnier than me and knew so much more. And going into, we'd scheduled in effect little short half-hour chunks that every one of the noobs could come in and do for the upcoming. Are we back?
Yes, that's never happened to you before.
Uh-oh.
There's Tom
Hodge.
Hey,
Hodge is here. Hey, Hodge.
We were talking about you.
Yeah. Actually, we were.
We were, quite a lot.
Yeah.
You'll have to go back and watch, because you can't repeat it now, but...
it's unrepeatable. Unbroadcastable, some would say.
Unrepeatable and unbroadcast.
It's not. But it's only on the basis that Stuart will broadcast anything. It's not unbroadcastable because it's poor quality. Anyway, no. And so we had that rehearsal right before our first... Hey, little wave. Nice.
Tom, I talked about you on Encore Radio, but you'll have to just watch back to find out all about it. But anyway.
Yeah, you'll have to go back on this, and then you'll also have to go back on Encore Radio's entire discography or record.
Was it about how woefully unavailable I am for regular gigs?
No, I haven't made any mention of that, although I do miss you, and I really wish that we could jam together more.
Yes.
That's just some sincere emotion I'm putting out there.
Yeah, I'd like to jam more with Tom, because as I said previously, he was involved in one of my very favourite improv experiences, which I'm not going to say what it is.
It's a mystery because you've got to watch back. Yeah.
That's why I talked about on Encore Radio.
Yeah. Actually, Tom Hodge is tangentially related to this first memory, because obviously he would be playing for my first show.
Ah, right.
Or maybe was it James at that stage? First Imps show. Was it? Did you and James split it like half and half? I can't remember, but you were definitely there, in my life at that stage, which is always a good thing to have a Hodge in your life.
Yes, I'm very much in favour of that.
Yeah, it's always a good idea. And then basically, I went in and I said like, oh god, these are the games that I don't know how to do to Tom and Daniel, and they were like, okay, we'll give them a go. And then I went through and I just did this pun that I can remember and will not repeat here, because it was for an improvised dating game, and it was absolutely terrible. I mean, it was just filth, and I would not besmirch your intellectual property with it. But just yeah, Mark, you can message us, and we'll do a little special video just for you. It will be a very weird. Bear in mind, I don't think I've met Mark.
Do you know Mark Johnson? He was in Never Folk.
No, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting him.
He's really nice.
Yeah. I'll have to meet him. The only possible way is by sending him a disgusting innuendo via Patreon. I'm sorry, it's the rules. It's the improv rules.
So do sign up to Patreon if you would like a disgusting, rude
From my
pun.
memories. From my memories. This is what Amy Cook-Hodgson has done. She's so classy, and she's going to watch this like, oh, I wonder what Vicky's up to.
Yeah.
You know, my dear friend Vicky Hawley, and she's going to click and just be like, why? Why is this where you took it? Why, mate? Why? And the answer is because I'm me. But yeah, and it wasn't actually about making the excellent innuendo. It was having Skelton and Daniel both laugh uproariously and be like, it was the first moment where I really felt like improv was something I could be good at, because I respect them so much, I still do, but like back then they were like improv comedy giants, and I admire them so much, I still do, but just being able to make them laugh and have that moment of being like, oh, actually I'm funny as well, and that was just such an amazing moment of support and fun and enjoyment, and I think that was very formative, because I'm like, well, if I could make those two laugh, I can make the audience laugh, and then if I could make this audience laugh, I can make that audience laugh, and it sort of went progressed from there. Stuart, have you answered this question before, Andrew?
I have, yes.
In that case, would you bear in mind your life, and this is a bit deep, I apologise, but bear in mind your whole life, would you, given the chance, restart it and play it from the beginning and have the opportunity to make new choices, different choices, whatever you want, but you can't remember anything you've learned in this life? You risk becoming a worse person.
I'm already in Slytherin.
Spoilers, Stuart, they're not going to watch that episode if you tell them all the things.
I'm already in Slytherin. What choices could I make that would send me down a better path?
You're being super fatalistic about being in Slytherin. I think it's a great house. Genuinely, it's not. Yeah, like apart from the whole siding with the Death Eaters thing, like
which I have not done.
No, exactly.
I say no to Death Eaters and death eating in general.
Just say no. It's like drugs.
Yeah.
Like, if someone comes up at you at a party and shows them their dark mark,
yes.
you have to say no.
no.
Just say no,
Yeah.
and find your nearest aura or grown up.
I say I'm just going to go and get a drink, and then I leave,
There
and
you go.
I don't come back.
Yeah. But then you're living up to the Slytherin priorities of ambition. Your goal is to not become a Death Eater, and you've taken steps to fulfill that goal.
That is true. I have not
Ambition.
become a Death Eater, so
There we go.
I mean, out of all,
Yep, no, I can verify. No dark mark, you're fine.
that is true. Yes. Out of all the things I've achieved in my life, not becoming a Death Eater, I don't think I can take. I don't know. Maybe
It's pretty good. You know what? It's pretty good.
I'm glad I'm not a Death Eater.
Me too. It'll be a bit of a different podcast, a bit.
It would.
Hi Vicky, thanks so much for joining me. What are your thoughts on the Mudbloods? Stuart, you can't. That's exceptionally rude. Yeah, but the Muggleborn are worse, aren't they? Stuart, what do you think of the inevitable return of our Lord and Saviour, Lord Voldemort? I thought we were going to talk about improv. Yeah, sorry. So how's Bumper Blighton?
Yeah, I've done 116 episodes. So in episode 117 I go, it's not really about improv, it's actually about being a Death Eater.
Being a wizard racist.
Being a wizard racist. Is that better than being a normal racist?
I mean...
It's just as bad because it's all racism.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
racism is wrong, kids.
It really is. It really is. I feel like, yeah, it is wrong. So would you replay your life with the knowing that you could make different choices, but knowing also that you risk those choices not making you who you are today?
I think because I have children,
Start from the beginning.
I
No, not okay.
I wouldn't want my choices to be different and for them not to be around.
Oh, that's nice. I think that's a really nice way to approach it. But what if your kids could be like better at sport or something, or like just like speed readers or chess champs?
They're already perfect as they are.
Oh, check that out. That's very sweet. Oh. Get out of jail free card much.
Yeah, well, you know, there's got to be some benefit to having children. And it turns out answering a question on episode 117 of a podcast, I finally reaped the benefits. It was a long-term plan, but it's really paid off.
Your kids are going to get emotional, like, relationship whiplash from, my children are already perfect. Oh, Dad. Yeah, but they're only benefit to me. Letting them help me answer this question.
No, that's not true. The eldest went through a phase of baking that was very good. And maybe she will return to it when she's no longer a teenager. Anyway.
Baking is fun. I can't ever get into baking. I think cooking is very complicated, and I'm not good at it.
I went through a big phase of it, and I would listen to podcasts and things like that.
Interesting.
So, Unseen Academicals, the Terry Pratchett novel, which I didn't read for a long time because I thought there'd be more football than there actually is. Actually features a lot more baking, and I did a lot of baking while listening to that book, and it was quite an immersive experience. Plus, there was cake at the end, so that's
lovely.
That was good all round.
Well, listen to a podcast, have some cake. Listen to a podcast, have some cake. This is an associative cycle that will have no detrimental effect. And why don't you listen to our podcast?
Yes.
Episode 117 of the Improv London Podcast, and then treat yourself to some cake.
That sounds a marvellous idea. I feel that our work here is done.
Certainly. Yes, this was great fun.
Thank you very much for being a guest on the
Yeah.
Improv London Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Stuart. It's been great.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to whatever we talked about.
I had fun too.
Good. I'm glad.
Let us say goodbye.
Indeed.
Bye.